Hello guys, Griffin Endurance here, with a operations update, I suppose. Oh, where to start? So much has been taken away from this map, it is unprecedented. The list of features to be removed includes flow regulators, antimatter injectors. You can no longer damage those. Originally the power systems were going to be able to toggle off main power and whatnot, so it'll toggle off all the systems and all that's gone. One shuttle pod now. I basically had to remove enough to free up about 360 entities in the end, which wasn't good. But never mind. It isn't the first time that I've had to compromise this map, and it's not going to be the last. I have a list of features that can be removed later on. For example, I have, what's top of my list? View screens. Where is that list? Normally people have a list of stuff to put in, I have a list of stuff to take out. Okay, so yeah, view screens is number 1, followed by transport test cylinder, followed by life support system. Wow, we don't want to get to that stage. But it's fitting that I'm sat in the rec room, because this station's designed to accommodate 46 people alongside the AI. The AI does most of the main station stuff. The 46 people are primarily engineering and support staff to keep her running. And why would you have a club on a station in the middle of nowhere that isn't going to have many visitors, that is essentially, 46 people? You don't need a club for that. And that's because this room is the rec room. Originally, this is actually a holographic template. Originally, the room, because there's no holodecks, no gym, nothing like that, the room was supposed to have basically everything you need. I was going to have a cow-toe board down here. That was going to be good, playing cow-toe. And I'll actually pop in a video now of how the holographic template in this room used to work.
This is the station's recreational room. Due to the lack of other recreational facilities on board this station, the mess hall has been replaced with a large rec room for all your recreational needs. The rec room also comes with a unique holographic template system. Using a combination of photographic and holographic projections, you can change the theme of the room to suit the current social occasion. During red alert status, the station will shut down any running template and reroute power to the defensive systems.
So you can see that was before the map became public. That was the very first compromise I had to make. But we got a piano. The important thing, Asteria issue piano, which we can press. Oh dear. I had to play all these little just melodies, like one-handed melodies for this piano. I actually played them on my keyboard and recorded them, so you could just... Can I push another one? No, it takes like 30 seconds before you can push another one. Come on. Give me something different. Give me... I want the inner light, that'd be a good one. Portal. But yeah, you're going to have a button over here so you can turn off the the central column and the music. But it is a rec room, not a club, so not to be confused. Right, so this video is going to be all about operations, because up until now I had to free up all these entities and delete all these features because operations didn't actually do anything.
Level 1. Operations Center.
So welcome to the new and improved operations. That looks pretty much the same apart from in there, but we won't get into that yet. So let's do a rundown of your system. So Science Station, very unimportant. This station is a communications relay and a admin station. Just basically a presence for this region. It's not that big a station.
Accessing scientific database.
Got scientific database.
Closing scientific
Bleepy
database.
noises. That's actually scanning, but I haven't made the texture for it yet. So that's a pretty easy one. Second one, this is the station that normally has the most functionality, which is tactical. You've got photon torpedoes, pulse phasers, tractor beam, which has to be toggled on and off, and shields. Shields go up, shields go down, and of course all your different alert statuses as well. This one here is part of the engineering station, which is here. This button's going to be for shutting down the reactor remotely. This one's going to be for toggling on and off life support remotely. This one, I'm hoping to change this LCAS. It doesn't look particularly good, but it shows you the 9 main systems that can be damaged by the damage system. You've got the primary EPS manifold, life support and ODN command pathways on the right. These are the ones that can essentially lead to the destruction of the station. And when the station blows up, it blows up. You can't spawn anymore. You're dead. The station's gone, so you probably don't want that. Life support, obviously, you lose life support. And then you've got pulse phasers, photon torpedoes, tractor beam, shields, communications and sensors. These are technically your primary systems. I refer to them as secondary damage systems because they don't really have a negative effect that's going to result in the death of the crew. For example, if I just toggle off communications and sensors,
Communication sensors offline.
You can see they've come off of here. Your sensor scan doesn't work anymore, and communication stuff doesn't work either. So the worst it's going to do is make an error button sound.
Online.
So split into 2 groups. Those ones are secondary damage systems, these are primary damage systems. So that covers your sort of engineering, you've got your tactical area, science. Let's take a look at operations next. Now normally operations communications has 2 buttons. You can change the view screen and open hailing frequencies. That's about all you get. Now this map was designed for the engineering staff and comms operations staff. Because you're a stationary ship, you don't need warp drive or anything like that. It's all about engineering, and because the majority of those 46 people on board the station are designed to be engineers, it's the main focal point. It's what the entire map was built around. But also, little interesting fact here is that you don't actually have a medical officer on this station. You just have a medic. It's a med bay. You don't have a full-time medical officer, not for 46 people. It's not worth it. So instead you just have a medic who's an engineer who doubles up as a medic. So if you're writing a roleplay based around what the map was designed to be, some interesting facts for you. So let's take a look at communications. So you've got those 2, but instead of just having 2 features, we've got 6 functionality on here. You've got open channel as well. You've got approved docking request and disapproved docking request, and then you've got launch bay lockdown.
Launch bay lockdown. Engaged. Launch bay lockdown. Released.
So from previous videos, you know that stops you from being able to launch the shuttle pods, or as it is now, the shuttle pod, because there's only one that can be launched. Disapprove and approve docking. You remember the 2 airlock systems, it's now down to 1. Everything's had to be halved. So you can disapprove or approve a docking request. At the moment, you can't use them. The docking request comes from the command and admin station, and the command and admin station is essentially where whoever's running the roleplay will be. At the moment, all the buttons are set to admin only. If you know of circumstances where you're going to have maybe an admin looking over, but your commanding officer isn't necessarily going to be an admin, I can turn that off. So let me know if you'd prefer that it wasn't just admin only. But you press that button.
A vessel is requesting to dock. Please approve or disapprove.
So you get your request, and then you'd click on approve or disapprove.
Request denied.
So you probably remember that actually the docking sequence, don't you? That's sort of still in here, goes to blue alert, and that's what happens when you click approve. But I'll show you that as part of a bigger thing later. So we've got open channel. That again ties in over there. And originally I wanted to have 6 toggleable view screens. And how this works is that the person running the roleplay, who would necessarily be standing here, would press activate view screen 1 or view screen 2. So let's just give it a go. So activate view screen 1. And then we can send like an incoming transmission message to operations.
Incoming transmission.
You could then do open hailing frequencies and then open channel, or you could just open the channel. So you can do bleep bleep bleep. And then you have your view screen with a character on it. Now what's important about this is that the effects are going to be somewhere else, but the actual character is going to be underneath the effects. So the little bleepy lines that are going past and whatnot, they're going to be textures shaded all off in another location, but there's going to be a separate pack which is that image of the guy, and you're going to be able to replace them. So you can have a ship come up on the screen or custom characters, and you've got a choice of 2. It's probably going to be 3, because I'm going to make the exterior view screen 1 as well. So you'll actually, it's really good for serial role plays, because if you want to have characters appear on the screen or a ship attacking you or whatnot, you could just, a tiny little pack that's going to be less than a megabyte in size, you could send out to your people at the beginning of your role play and replace the existing ones, and you can bring your characters up on the screen. So I wanted to add that in rather than just having toggle exterior view. But while that's online, you can't actually change anything until it goes offline. So when that goes offline, you could then choose to have view screen 2 instead. And instead of doing incoming transmission, your comm officer could open hailing frequencies, and they could say, oh, they're responding, or you could even push this and go, they're responding.
Incoming transmission.
And then you press it and you've got a different view screen. This one's got a cargo captain on it. And you can sit there and go, I'm not believing you! It's a trap! Like Admiral Akbar, if you wanted to. And used in conjunction with the toggle airlock depart system. So let's do the Starfleet Admiral. So you could have like a vessel approaching, incoming transmission, and open a channel. Hello, this is Captain Akbar. I want to dock for your station. And then they can send a docking request.
A vessel is requesting to dock. Please approve or disapprove.
Okay, Captain Akbar, Admiral Akbar, or Lieutenant Akbar. We're all Akbars over here. We're going to stop now. So you can approve.
Docking approved. Please stand by. Condition blue. All hands to code blue stations. Vessel approaching airlock 1. All support personnel report to airlock 1.
And then it will do the docking procedure.
Initiating docking procedure.
So only airlock 1 can be toggled now, which is a shame, but you still get the full sort of docking procedure.
Docking procedure complete.
So you can have them dock, and then you could have them incoming transmission.
Incoming transmission.
And you can put the screen back on and have, this is Admiral Akbar! We're ready to leave! And then you can go, oh, okay. And then you can turn the view screen off, and then come over here and push this.
A vessel is requesting to depart. Please approve or disapprove.
And you go, we have reason to believe they have contraband! And you can go, no.
Request denied.
And then they'll just be stuck there. Or you can let them leave. Let's stand down from blue alert.
Alert status cancelled.
So, yeah, that covers those. Pretty simple setup. Obviously, you can't change the view screen while it's active. Either that one, or you have to disable that and then do exterior. Exterior view screen, again, I think I'm going to have that as an image, because then you could even do an exterior of a ship or change the exterior based on whatever you want for your serial roleplay. So it'd be 3 images and you can just change them out, or you can keep the default ones. The default ones will be sort of generic, so you could just use them for whatever you really feel like. So that covers that covers all of those systems. Okay. Not sure if I mentioned that's going to have engineering. Is obviously going to have life support and reactor. So I think I've already mentioned that. So what's next? Next is the most controversial part of this map, which requires some introduction. I don't roleplay personally. The reason I don't roleplay is because when I look at role-playing games, I think of things like Mass Effect, Deus Ex, Elder Scrolls. It's where it's a symbiotic relationship between you and your character. Your character becomes you, you become your character. RPGX to me is more like playing Kate Mulgrew, who is an actor playing Captain Janeway. You're playing an actor playing a role. You're not becoming the role, and the role isn't reflecting your personality. There's too much control in terms of admin side. They fear things like plot hijacking and noobing. This map plot hijacks to a certain extent. Originally it was going to do a lot more, but I had to cut that back. It plot hijacks in a way that is up to the admin. The admin can turn around and say, okay, you can do this random thing. But it kind of... So yeah, I suppose it's not completely taking away the control, but the idea is that it gives more to the custom players. It gives more to the engineers at the station and more to the crew. So the crew will actually have to respond if communications go offline. It changes your roleplay. You can't communicate back to the ship that's attacking you until communications are repaired. So in that capacity, it hijacks. It means that what you plan for the roleplay may not necessarily be what's going to happen. And the damage system goes into that. Instead of having the ability to damage off each system at will, if you want to cause a reactor breach, I'm afraid you can't just push one magical button and have it happen. It's a random event. And the very badge of Asteria says something. Asteria, what's that? Incunambulum vitae artificiose, or whatever. That's Asteria, cradle of artificial life, and it's a lot more than just Lays and the AI on the station. The station has AI. Some stuff on the station is random that you have to respond to. I think outside the box it's my strength as a developer. It's probably also my weakness from some people's perspective. Some people are going to love this, some people aren't. But the way the damage system works is that it's kind of like a game of poker. You put up the stakes of what you're willing to risk with the damage system. You've got damage 0 risk, you've got damage medium risk, and damage high risk. High risk are those 3 systems that can cause the station to blow up, or life support to break, or people to die. Medium risk is your secondary damage systems, these things here, that can simply be toggled back on, and 0 risk just plays a sound. This one plays a sound and risks those systems, so every time you push it you may not necessarily turn off one of those systems, it may just play a sound. And high risk risks all 3, so it will play a sound, it could damage those systems, or it could damage the more severe systems. You have no control over that. You push the button, the damage occurs. It happens at random, it's up to your engineering teams and your crew members to adapt to the changes that it makes. In a worst case scenario with medium risk, see, that just played a sound, there's no guarantee it's actually going to damage anything. Another sound.
Shields offline.
So in the event that shields offline is really such an inconvenience,
Shields online.
it takes 2 seconds to turn it back on. The high risk stuff, however, has consequences. The primary EPS manifold has a spare part. You have to remove the damaged component and replace it with the spare part. The life support systems, again, you have to remove the damaged component and replace it with a spare part. And the ODN command pathways, Lays listens to me. It's a random system, but she listens to me. Lays, I want it to be ODN command pathways, please.
Warning. ODN command pathways severed. Command functions offline.
Good girl. That turns off everything, okay? All command functions in operations are now offline. No one can do anything. even though the systems are on, every single station is locked up. Without that being restored, you can still issue damage because that's an exterior system, as is the request for docking and departing. Although, if communications is offline, you still won't hear that. But this cuts everything off. Life support obviously kills you after 30 seconds if it's not repaired, and primary EPS manifold causes a reactor breach unless the reactor is first shut down and the component repaired. No choice. Happens at random. Deal with it, apart from Lace listens to me. Don't you, Lace?
Yes.
Good girl. Good girl, aren't you, Lace? So I'm going to go turn that back on because I'm going to need the systems.
Level 4, Engineering, Maintenance, and AI Core.
Obviously down in Engineering you can see it also has the same status display, displaying ODN command pathways offline. Turbolifts, transporters, replicators are gone obviously, as I mentioned.
ODN command pathways online. Operations Center.
So all systems are good. So if we press this one,
Pulse phasers offline. Shields offline. Sensors offline. Communications offline.
sensors next. Am I right? Sensors next? Is it going to be sensors? Or are they already off? Oh, they're already off. I don't know anything. Okay, sensors online. So yeah, you can see that that one just targets these systems, which is alright. I forgot to turn them on.
Sensors online. Communications online.
Shields and pulse phasers.
Pulse phaser shield online.
Now these things do work as you'd expect. So if your shields are up, tractor beam's on, and say your view screen's on,
Communications offline.
toggles them off. So shields down,
Shields offline. Tractor beam offline. Communications online. Shields tractor beam.
so it does turn them off. So that's your damage systems, that's your option with your damage systems. Now, as I said, it's going to be kind of controversial, some people aren't going to like it, but as it is a command and admin position, the simplest solution is how do you normally do damage? Do it that way. No other map has this functionality, so just use zero risk. Don't use the functionality. You don't need to use it. Just use it as a traditional role-playing map. You don't have to use these features just because they're in. But the idea is that, especially with serial role plays, most of the players you have are going to be people that you trust aren't just going to make a mess of things. And you can give them something more interesting to do. The three foundations of this map, in fact, are AI, which isn't just lays, it's random events. You also have shuttle pods and the damage system. I'm compromising on all three, but keeping all three in. So that covers all the main sort of systems in operations. I don't think there's really any more, with the exception of one. My nice dark cubby hole with the holographic display. Again, this has been compromised as well. It doesn't have the whooshing things going by and stuff gradually turning on. It just toggles stuff on. As standard, the holographic display is offline. Need to turn it on.
Confirmed. Activating holographic display.
Don't worry, it's not going to have the galaxy map music. I just like putting that in. Right. Where's my tricorder? So you've got a choice between galaxy, sector, Asteria station, which would be an exterior view, and a ship. These two don't work. Well, they'll change it, but there won't be a model there. But you can change this.
Sector information.
As you can see, it doesn't do the pretty everything appearing and whatnot. Shame, but I had to compromise in order to save entities.
Displaying galaxy overview.
And then of course you can toggle it off. Come on, toggle off.
confirmed.
You have to wait 26 seconds.
Holographic display.
No, actually it's 10 seconds. But there we go. So that works like a charm. So as I said, this station is built for engineers. And that leads me on to my next bit. Look at the nice Miranda picture. The Archer class. You can't tell they're in the cells from STO, but there we go, I had to bodge something together. So this leads me on to the final part of this video, which is to talk a little bit about the closed beta. The closed beta is going to be set up in two parts. First, I'm going to take the VIP list onto the station, walk them around, show them how everything works, and to prepare for the official sort of closed beta, which will be actually a roleplay. I'm going to get someone to run it, because I don't roleplay, I've never run a roleplay, and I'm going to write a story for it. And it's going to be set up, it's going to be recorded, kind of like an episode, and it's going to be set up and everything beforehand. That's what this one's for. But for this, and because of how important engineers are on this station, the focus of engineers, I'm going to need 3 engineers. These engineers are going to need to be people who seem quite enthusiastic about the systems that are on here, especially the fact that it gives you something to do. I don't want people who are just going to beast it and aren't interested in it. It has its ups and downs. Its downs are it takes control away, and people go, what about noobs? And you have to ask your question, well, why do you get noobs? Because they're bored. Give them something to do, they're less likely to screw around with anything, and because the damage system's controlled by admin, you know, you can't have them blowing up the station. But as long as the person is relatively enthusiastic about that, then that'd be great, because they're going to have to repair the systems at random in this roleplay. They're going to need a little bit of training to understand how to repair everything, so I'll walk them through that. So in order to apply, you're going to need to send a email to my email address. Link will be in the description. You need to put your name and any other names that you go by, any role-playing group affiliations. You're going to need to have a microphone, because I'm not going to type, I'm going to talk. So a microphone, maybe we'll have Skype or something else running, so I can talk you through it all properly. And also experience. I need to know what sort of experience you have. It would be particularly useful. What I'm looking for is engineers currently in serial roleplays. So I will be looking for your engineering expertise and experience. I also tend to browse the interwebs looking for forum threads about Asteria. There is a name that has popped up, someone who seems quite enthusiastic about the systems and whatnot. They may be invited, so there may only be 2 positions. It depends if they apply or not. They'll automatically get it if they do. And so all the information's in the description. So just apply if you're an engineer, if that's something you feel like doing. It's hopefully going to be in November time, assuming I can get the map all polished by then, and that it will work with the latest version of RPGX, which is another issue. So apply. I'll let you know. I'm going to do a background check on everyone, see their activity on a variety of RPGX forums, see their general sort of mood, appeal. Really, you have to love engineering. You have to love the engineering position. So I'm going to be looking for people who are particularly enthusiastic about it. So submit, see what happens. Thanks for watching. Take care.